A pleasant good evening to each and everyone in Georgetown, Guyana, the diaspora, and elsewhere. Friends all. Today, as I sit down here, I want to say one thing clearly. I want you to subscribe to the channel so you will get the next updated video. You know, a lot of people may not understand the message that I am giving. And yes, I am not responsible for your way of thinking, your knowledge, or your teaching. Because if you grow up in a home, learn to hate, you don't want to hear anything about love, nor affection, because it offends you. It's like good would never tolerate evil, and evil will never want to assemble with good. And then again, we use things that in languages that many of us don't stop to think that sometimes we use things to justify our ego or our appetite and quench our thirst. But at the same time, one must have to stop and think. As a little boy growing up, I have seen a lot of problem in Georgetown, Guyana, between the East Indian descendant and the African descendant. But we grow up hearing these words. Black people are racial. Indian as coolie, they call them, which everybody could be a coolie because you're a laborer. They are corrupt. And we keep on growing with that in our mind. So when you being an Indian and you see a black person, you might see Jesus, Muhammad, Musa, Abraham, but you already got it in your intention because you grow up hearing it from baby and you grow with it and you are controlled by news media and corrupt people. So it is embedded in you, which means you're born, grow up to be indoctrinated into something and believe that the other race, if they are European, as you say, white, East Indian, as we say, coolie, and the African, as we say, black. Well, the Chinese are the only one I see exempt from this race, unless you call them Chino or yellow people. Because anywhere you go and you meet an uneducated black person, or one who is brainwashed, you hear white man slave us, white man this, white man that, white man take away resources. And if you go to the Indian side, you will hear, because they are caste system people, Indians do not, under no circumstances, speak racism unless they're drunk and very illiterate, but use it just a matter to release the tension. But they are not racial people. They are corrupt. I will rather deal with racists than corrupt individual. A racial individual, you could sit and have a dialogue and get to understand. Maybe you all don't understand it right away, but later if you have an open mind and put yourself above the conversation, you will be able to develop something called wisdom, understanding, and you will realize what takes place. We have names for many animals. Let's take the gorilla family, the chimpanzee, the baboon, the little monkey. They are all the same family, but we give them names to identify. Oh, that's a little monkey. That's a little shakawinky. That's a baboon. That's a gorilla. That's a chimpanzee. And we continue like that. It's the same bloody thing we are doing with our human brothers, regardless of our culture, our language, or our teaching around the world. What is slavery? Slavery is one use another to do something without payment at the time, and treat you like wild animal if you retaliate. And it happened in every race. Not only the black race was a slave, the blacks was also slave owners to the Arab people, and the Arabs also were slave owners too. And they all used to sell slaves. It was a business. sell the less fortunate, one who is not in your tribe. You used to have more tribal war than we have war like what's happening right now in the world. Let me ask my African brothers and sisters, the learned few. Is the European, the white man, is in Africa? But you have the guns and the bombs, the plane, the tanks, and you're dressing like you are a military personnel in the same thing the Europeans sold to you, or maybe the Chinese. You dress in it to kill your brother. Is the European dressing that uniform, driving those things? But you all buy it to kill your own. Is that racism? When you kill your own? No. You call it something else. So if you being a black person, an African, and the Chinese enslave you, how long you live, you will remember you was once a slave to the Chinese. Or if you enslave the Chinese, he's going to remember he was once a slave to you. Just like the European versus the rest, or the East Indian. Well, they are, I says, the Indian people are the most coolest people in gearing slavery, but they call it cheap labor. Friends, it is only language that defines the language. Make we get to that. Many people say George Correa is biased. But what is bias? I grew up in Guyana and I see what the blacks have done to Indian and other race. I even see when the other blacks stand up against them, what they do to their own. But must I say, when a tiger kills him, must I say it's a rabbit? Must I say it's a cow? Do the killing or a rabbit? Or a sheep or a deer? Or must I say it's a tiger? I see tiger, ladies and gentlemen. And if it's wolves, like the story with the young boy who one day his father said to him, "Son, I'm not feeling good today. I want you to take the flock of sheep and graze them into the pasture." He said, "Okay, Daddy." He left the village with the flock of sheep into the pasture. And when he grazing them, he see an animal gold color with striped black attack and kill every one of them. He had to run for his life. Poor young man run back into the little village, crying. Father run out, the villagers come out. "What happened, son?" He replied, "I see an animal. Several of them, they kill all the sheep." They said, "What animal you see? Do they look like a sheep?" He said, "No, Daddy. No. This animal was huge and got golden color with black stripe." Then the people said they were tight. So the villagers went out on a trace to see. And what did they see devouring the animals them? Tiger. They cannot go and say it was rabbit, our sheep or wolves, when we know that wolves kill sheep. Friends, why you people in Guyana so effing illiterate? On both sides. When I speak out against the wrong thing you, the black people, done, and I make it clear, not all of you, but it's black people. You want I say it was Chinese, Amerindian, Coolie as we call them, East Indian? No. We are not here to condemn an innocent person or a nation if they were not involved in it. When you go hunting, you're hunting for deer or others. You are not going to hunt for fellow human like yourself. What I'm trying to tell you, we use words not analyzing the impact of the words. So what is bias? In Guyana, there are 6 nations. The Amerindian, who is the indigenous people. The mixed race followed by them. The two can't leave that country. Well, the Amerindian can walk from Alaska to Argentina. and the Falkland, didn't go anywhere in the Caribbean, that they are the first people here. The mixed race came from the African descendant, the Indian, the Chinese, the Portuguese, as you call them, European white. So when you talk from Mexico to others, we are Spanish. You are not Spanish. Spanish is in Spain. You are Latino. You're a mixed set of people coming from all the rest. You have European blood. You have black blood. You have Chinese blood. And you have East Indian blood. Do your history. Many of you, the Moors, ruled Spain for many years. They were black people. So many people in Latin America and Spain today got Muslim blood in them because the Moors ruled you for many years. My friends, let it be known to you. Languages means a lot. So for you, the educated one, not the dummies, mind how you use your word and use it properly, since you all want to be defined. God Almighty, the Creator, Bhagwan, Allah, or God, He says these words: I make man in my own image and likeness. He didn't say I make black man, white man, brown man, yellow man, and what other man go with it. He says man. He also make days. The Bible says He make days. 6 days He take to make the world, and He rest on the seventh. What is a day? A day is concerning 12-hour daylight, 12-hour darkness. That's a complete day. He didn't say the night and the day. He said the day. The day is 24 effing hour. You illiterate bastards or educated assholes. And I have no apology for that. Today we have men who don't even know they are men. They're going the other side. We have women who don't know that they're born to be women. They're going the other side. Now, I have nothing of your chemical changes of your hormone or your way of thinking. You eat pork. I don't eat pork. Some eat beef. Hindus don't eat beef. They say the cow signifies their mother because it gives milk and it gives more, but they kill their mother. They kill their wife. And the mothers and the wife kill their husband too. So if them is ma, give me pa. You bloody hypocrites. But then they come back and kill pa too. Friends, let me tell you here today, I'm watching the international news. Africa is in chaos right now. Sudan, many other parts of Africa, fighting over territory, fighting over power. We have Haiti right in our back door. We got Venezuela want to claim 60% of Guyana, Maduro. But who is the Venezuelan? Who is the true Guyanese? It's not Indian and black, European and Chinese. It is the native Indians that we call the indigenous people, followed by the mixed race. But according to the geography and the teaching and the European way of colonizing, where you're born, that is where you belong. Now, why this modern generation have to bring slavery? The European, the white man slave way. Take off them clothes you're all wearing and let's go back into Africa with just a lap flat on. Since we are condemning. We condemning the crucial thing we read and we heard and we wasn't there. But today, in modern time, your politician in Guyana, the Caribbean, and Africa is enslaving you more, and they're black people. And they're lying to you more and getting you to kill people for you because of a few dollars. You're an economical slave, killing for your own salvation. But you all don't want to hear the truth. But before I continue with Guyana, once again, I want to give my great condolence to the people of Israel and the Palestinians and to the rest of the world who are fighting over leadership, killing each other like Haiti and Pakistan, India, and all about Africa. The problem, friends, even Russia. Today, I call upon all of you to look carefully. Look what happened in Israel, Palestine. Whether we like it or not, A lot of Jews are taking the street and calling for the removal of the Prime Minister, Netanyahu. And the police are doing their job, arresting them, pushing them away, and do what they got to do with them. But according to information is alleged, when the young Palestinian children throw stones because they come and meet their house bulldozing, men armed with machine guns, like guerrillas ready to kill, while they were the one who entered the people's country, and they are bulldozing the people's house, shooting at them, killing them in the mask. Nobody say nothing. Arafat went through it. Many, Shamir, when he died, he was suffering, the Israel Prime Minister. But I asked this message, why God takes so long to step in? Many innocent women and children have been murdered in Israel and Gaza. Why the elite Jews don't want a double standard of double state, two-state solution? Why? Israel is not yours. Because many Jewish people against what Netanyahu and others are doing. We condemn Adolf Hitler. We hunt the Nazi all over Central and South America. We bring them for trial. You hear? We bring them for trial in the Hague Court. We kill some. And yes, we were right because they carried out a gruesome crime against innocent people. But was not only Jews was murdered for 6 million in the gas chamber. Even if it's one, it's too much. We all have a right as humans to speak out against it. We have a right to give solidarity and to stand up to make it don't happen again. But for a nation who say what Hitler done to you, and you've been pushed away from 140 countries, according to information is alleged, and you are the one who's the occupier in that country, or should have been in Guyana in the time. Thank God that you are not there, but I would have rather to have you there than have our Indian brothers and sisters and the African descendant what is there. Because the two of them, and don't get me wrong, there's a lot of good people amongst both races. Good East Indian, good African descendant. I got your blood in me and I could tell you, the most wickedest people in Guyana is the Indian people. Treacherous, devious, corrupt, covetous, vindictive, spiteful, jealousful, and very ungrateful. But yet again, you have some very genuine ones. They will give their heart. They open up the door to anybody. My mother happens to be one of that. Our generation happens to be one of that. My friends, you and I can sit down and discuss this from day one to day two. But with corrupt politicians, and we listen to them, most of them are lawyers, they are trained how to talk. We decide to kill one another, go against one another. When those politicians go to their house, they eat and drink with knife and fork, steak and baked chicken. What the hell you got for your wife and children? You're in the street waiting on handout. Your family in Canada, England, America, and elsewhere in the same European country have to send barrel, money, and food and clothes for you. Are y'all not ungrateful? Tell me, if these European people listen to y'all and unite amongst themselves and trade with one another and China and refuse to trade with Africa or India, what will become of y'all? This will go on trade. There was time in Guyana a Hindu can marry a Muslim, or none want to marry a Christian. Primitive time. It have changed. It have changed. Now you could marry any woman, any man once you love, because the old ancestor was trained the wrong way. Came out from Africa and India, tribalism and caste system. And even in the European, as a white race, they also have it. Hitler nearly annihilated the whole of Europe. World War II, World War I, the genocide in World War I. They nearly annihilate each other. Alexander the Great, the Italian War, the Greek, went all into India and bring out Indians. Today, in Greece, Athens, Therace, there's a mixed breed, but they call themselves Greek. And you can't blame them. But in the Caribbean and Guyana, we are Jamaican, but we are African. We are Guyanese, but we are African. We are Indian. We are Guyanese, but we are Indian. You're nothing but blasted human being where you're born. You are the descendant of India, Africa, China, or Europe. You are a human being, man and woman, that was created by Allah, Bhagwan, and God. I look at the news and see a Palestinian woman crying. And she says, they are killing us. They are killing our children. Why don't they make it ding and done? Well, I'm asking America, Joe Biden, the honorable president, you can save this world by doing the right thing. Give Netanyahu a nuclear bomb, let finish the Palestinian, because that is what y'all are doing. If I am helping a criminal, I am aiding and abetting in a crime. I'm a part of the crime. We in America must defend the United States of America with our last sweat and blood and tears. But we cannot sit in it and allow our friends to call the shot while corrupt politicians think they know it all and destroying the wall of humanity. Now we cannot support Russia if we are Russians, when Putin wanted to kill people because of an ideology. Or China if we are Chinese, to represent the Chinese Prime Minister, Premier, whatever for life, when they're destroying humanity. Or our Arab counterparts in Saudi Arabia, those hypocrites. Tomorrow will be the day of the beginning of Ramadan. The day when Muslims will be going on 30 days or 40 days fasting. And they have a day when they will be calling on Allah, Allah Ta'ala, for whatever they desire. But I call upon all Muslims. How can we go tomorrow into the month of Ramadan keeping fast while our brothers and sisters have been slaughtered? Is that what Muhammad, if he was here, would have do? He would have kept fast, yes. He would have been the fastest one trying to help his people. But we have problem between the Muslim society. One is Shiite, the other one is Sunni. And only talk and talk and talk. We all have to die. Why we cannot stop this war? Unite, save human civilization, and put this world forward for the next generation. Let's come off about white man slave us when Africa is living their own. President and Prime Minister taking young girls into Paris, using and abusing them because of money. Your politicians in every country, India, Africa, Caribbean, Guyana, Latin, South America, and in the United States, Canada, all over there, corrupt people. They got good ones, don't get me wrong. Sometimes I ask, I wish if my mother had an abortion, that I don't have to sit down here to listen to these hypocrites shouting in the name of Allah, in the name of Bhagwan, in the name of Jesus. But in the name of all of that, you're destroying what the same prophet you call come to speak to. Hypocrites. Y'all may not like it. I came into this world with blood on my skin. And if that is the way I will have to live, so be it. It is by the will of Almighty God, Allah, Bhagwan, not me. For I do not know where the next minute will take me. But I remember when my mother said to me, when I was arguing with her as a little boy, she says, "You are very disturbing. When you was in my womb, you were kicking my walls to come out. You couldn't wait on 9 months. Today you out. You still giving me trouble. You are the son of the devil." Then I laugh and I look at my mother at age 7. I say, what is amazing, my mother? If I am the son of the devil, then I have power, like the son of Mary, that God makes she get a child. Say, he is the son of God, and I am the son of the devil. We both have power. But my power is not to kill. And not because you're my mother, and if you're wrong, I shut my mouth. Like what happened in Guyana, in Indian family and black family. When your people do wrong, 80% of both sides shut your mouth. Y'all are a part of it when you shut your mouth. He who sees injustice and deny it is worse than a man that born blind. And I know one, too, Ray Charles born blind. Stevie Wonder born blind, but he see the rain coming down. Y'all couldn't see a man killing another man. Hypocrites. Y'all may not like it. What does it profit your prime minister, your president, all over the world, all in Guyana, especially now? Many people talking about the infant Ali government in Guyana. They say you have 19 counts. Well, I tell them they make mistake. Maybe it's 19 account, but they say counts. Okay, give it to them because English language is a undesirable language to some fool. You know what I mean? Then I heard the black people say, not all, the illiterate, the power drunk, about the installed coolie government. Are you people realize that all the government in Guyana was installed by the CIA? John F. Kennedy helped to put Barnum in power with the help of the guy, a Portuguese, not Portuguese, a Portuguese, I give you now your language. The guy was the only man in Guyana turn his corporation, his banks, his Pepsi Cola business to shareholder for Indian, black, and anybody to buy a share for $1. What Jagan and Barnum give to y'all? The East Indian descendant, your black god, Barnum, and your Indian god, Jagan. What did he give to y'all? Pressure, heart attack. Friends, stop fighting over political leaders. Unite, and let's put Guyana also forward and open up Guyana to Africa and India and the Caribbean and the rest of the world for people like ourselves, regardless of their language or their culture. They are chosen by Almighty because they were created by Him, another fellow human like us. We didn't make ourselves. So I urge you to let's do that. And for you, my black brothers and sisters, you are cursing the white man. Then go back to Africa. Don't come to Canada, America, and England. Why waste your money fighting to come here? I remember many years I sit on the TV in Guyana, CN Sharma Channel 6. Then an African woman, she says, Sharma, I was sitting on the set, calling show. Me been, and I give you Creole, me been at the U.S. Embassy, them people are thief. Me pay $300 for an interview, for get one visa for go to America. And the interview in the last 3 or 4 minutes, me lose my money and me not get the visa. Imagine, she wouldn't have had to pay being a black woman, as she said, to get a visa to go to Ghana, because that is where you originally come from, but you'd rather to come to the same white man country as he said. And once I like y'all, you know, y'all quick to say he slaughtered the Amerindian, the native Indian. And you're right, but not modern generation. Can I take your great-grandfather crime, or great-grandmother crime, and put it on the great-grandchildren 200 years, 100 years forward? Answer me. It will be totally wrong. Because if we can do that, then we could try Aubrey for James Fault and Parta for Gangadin problem. That is why Guyana, the third world country, is so effing corrupt. Courthouse, politician called the string, and a black judge will lock up a black man or woman, even though you're descendant, because of economics, of a job. You've been exploited, your mind, your thoughts, your vision. Then you run to the church in the name of Jesus, and with the Bible in their hand, the priest with the 3-piece suit, telling you about Jesus, or shaking hand with your politician that's exploiting your ass, enslaving you, making law to keep you down while they are enjoying the world. Come on. The police, they should get a better salary. They should get the military too. And my advice to the Guyana government, if the police is from Georgetown, send them up into the Essequibo, bring the Essequibo one to Georgetown. If they're from Mackenzie Linden, send them to Berbice, bring the one from Berbice, and change them every 6 months. But make sure every station have houses to house the people and their families. Because when a policeman stays too long in a station, he or she become corrupt. And the magistrate and the judges all need a lie detector test. I'm not saying you don't have good one amongst the police, the courthouse, or the military. But what makes those 65 minister so bloody important when you got the gun, had to stand up by the border of Venezuela, maybe Brazil or Suriname? Let the president, let the ministers in parliament, and all the supporters get the gun, and all of you go stand up to defend the country. They will be running their ass back to England, America. And what I like about them, they ain't going to Africa and India. Even though they hate the white man, they're running with the white man there. You fucking hypocrites. I have no apology to that because it's not a bad word for me, and it's not a curse. And it is not an indecent language. Because Guyana had a supermarket opposite Parliament building, marked Chinie Fuck. I win a case over that, okay? Because name doesn't mean shit. Like we got woman, Goldfinger, and the woman who was the actress. If I tell a woman about pussy, she get offended. But that woman, they name Pussy Galore. But a pussy is four-legged animal. Ladies and gentlemen, you have to open your eyes and your ears and educate your bloody self. A woman does not have a pussy. She have a virginity. She have a womb. A pussy is an animal that runs on four legs, okay? So you all take it from me. So tell your teachers, tell your headmasters, and your corrupt education minister, even though she's a woman, if she got a pussy, then she got to walk on four legs for me. All right? Y'all may not like it, but we use words not paying attention to it. All right? And a man does not have what you call, and I give you all straight, a dick. You have a penis. A dick is the name of a dog, a man, or an animal. Educate your bloody self. Same as slavery. And what religion is better than another? One tell you about God in a different language, Arab language, Allah is God. One tell you in the Hindu language, Bhagwan is God. One tell you in the English language, God. So what else you want? And in other language, it's the same thing, come down to one thing, God. Tell me. So, when the African die, the Indian die, the Chinese die, the European die, and the mixed race die, and the indigenous people die, we have to find another name. Because we're dead. Isn't that true? We all only come into this world for a short time. Stop this nonsense of racism. Your biggest problem in the world today is religion and this thing called race. Stop it. We are the human race and we are worshiping God Almighty. All right? Let's call upon the world to stand up to put an end to this war in Palestine. Enough is enough. Let's stop talking about the 7th of October when we are not talking about July, June, January, February, where they're bulldozing people's house for the settlers, shooting at them, killing them all in the mass. We're not hearing about that. How could we? But we hear about Hitler. 6 million Jews was got exterminated. How many Palestinians has been murdered? God, I ask you here today, as the month of Ramadan, where billions of them will be going down on their knees, starving themselves for you, why you close your eyes and deaf your ears at this time when bombs and guns are killing them. Answer the call and teach all those who are playing hypocrite hiding. Show them what you can do because you make this world and you make all of us. And you have to show an example now. We don't want to hear about Nebuchadnezzar and the seas and the Pharaoh. We want to hear what's happening now. Put an end to tyranny. Enough is enough. They are our brothers and sisters, our human brothers and sisters. regardless of our languages, culture, and nationality, we are all created by the hands of you. If it was written as you said, and so it will be, then I ask you here today, teach the people them who is aiding and abetting in this crime because they want to benefit on gas, oil, and other things. How can we go to your heaven or your house with this kind of mess in our mind? How many languages and priests and representatives we will have? I ask you in the name of your kingdom, show human being what you can do. And I call upon the black race, stop talking race, because your tribal affair were worse than the European. And you Indians, stop being corrupt, because you are the most corrupt human being on the face of the earth. You are corrupt. You believe in the caste system. You don't like your own because they're darker, less educated. You humiliate them. You insult them. You put your parents on the street and rob them whatever they got. You beat them. And you all love the voodoo man and the Kalimite church. Y'all may not like it. So I tell you here today, I call upon Joe Biden, the President of the United States, to do something about this war and put an end to it. What the sense we are shooting food, but we supporting the killing? Does that make sense? I think I was mad, as they say. Does that make sense? Tell me. To me, it does. My friends, y'all may not like that. And I tell you, I know many of you might hate it, and you might want to put a hit on my head. Now let me tell you something. If that is the way and the will of God, and I have to go, I want you all to know, whoever do the killing, I will wake up in your bedroom next to you, your wife. And even though you might dead and gone, I can there along between your children. And who leads you to it, I'll be there too. Because you know what? I'm only living in this body. This image you see is not me. Okay? You see a battery that move a plane, a car, a computer. Did you see the voltage? No. You feel the shock if you hold it wrong. So I am in this body as a man that God made with an image that you can identify. You could fingerprint this body. You could take the DNA of this body, but you cannot interfere with the person that lives in this body. Think of it. That is the gift that my God gives to me. His power. My God, I ask of you for your mercy and to show me mercy. Father, I ask of you, God, show me the mercy. Not for me, but for the people in Palestine, Haiti, Africa, India, and all over the world that are suffering. Billions of people are hungry right now as we talk, God. Put an end to all chaos. Do something so they could know you are there. So I beg you here today, not for my sake, but coming back to Guyana, the most corrupt English-speaking country in this hemisphere, followed by Belize, another English-speaking hotspot. You hear? Well, forget the Caribbean, as we know about Jamaica, Grenada. We know about Dominica with Eugenia Charles. Now I get to hear it's alleged that the Prime Minister of English Dominica is selling passports and they all got things in Dubai. It's alleged. And also, I want my president in Guyana to listen to me. Where was Saudi Arabia and Dubai when we had needed place to go under the Burnham government? Where were them when oil was calling an expensive price? Did they give us one drop of oil? It was Venezuela under Hugo Chavez. Even giving to America and the Caribbean. So why Guyana and Venezuela must have a confrontation over land when Maduro is a Colombian? And he was a bus driver, but nevertheless, he's the president of the country. but he himself was misled. And if we have to try Spain for crime against the indigenous people, then we must start try people like Maduro and them who fighting for land. For he who receives stolen property is worse than the man who stole it. So Mr. Maduro could tell me if Spain ruling Venezuela, or Portugal or ruling Brazil, or England ruling the Caribbean, or Guyana, they take and they put and do what they have to do and they get out and they leave the garbage of Africa and India and Spain and other Latin places. Today y'all are fighting for what is not yours. For all of you, from Spanish to Dutch, from French to English, in the Caribbean and Latin, South American Guyana fighting for land. It's not your own. It's an indigenous race. You call them the Arawaks. You call them the indigenous people. You call them Bok people, Bok man, Bok woman. Plus we are getting money for the carbon affair in Guyana. What the Amerindian get? Come on, Ali. You're going to fast from tomorrow. Don't let Allah curse you, my friend. You're doing good. But good is not enough for the too ignorant race you're dealing with. And in every party there are thieves, liars. And I'm tired hearing Karaya is biased. And let me tell you here today, I shot my brother after me, I didn't kill him. But if I had a chance today, I'd blow his fucking head off. His name is Royston Alexander Chong. And he could his wife from my Coney in Dressy Gobin, a piece of treacherous ore my mother bring into the family. Okay? The woman full of disease, our whole family. I hope they change by the will of God. Here, why you Indian woman, a lot of you when you join a family, you like to divide it. You like to go to the old man, but turn your man to hate your own mother. Like Indra C. Goba and say, my brother must fuck his own mother. I thank a woman named Stella Bechu who saved her. Open she door when she running, when they carry the chase. As I wouldn't have been here today, I would have killed that Indian bitch. A woman take her off the street, put her with her son. And because the son give the mother some vitamin tablet, she was annoyed and said, he must fuck his own mother. You Indian low-class whores. Y'all Indian women, don't take it wrong. They're good and bad amongst all of us. And whore is not a bad word. Read your English dictionary properly. So, ladies and gentlemen, fellow Guyanese, we tried the race party called PNC with the black leader. It was chaos, disaster. Plenty wrong things happened to Indians. I heard a story where a man killed a whole Indian family and the little baby were watching it. He bust the baby into pieces, a black man. I heard it. I ain't calling him. And I heard Indian, how you chop up your neighbor, you set poison, you do all kind of shit with obeah. Wake the hell up and open up the door to the civilized black people in Africa, India, the Caribbean, and elsewhere, and give God world a breathing chance so he can know there are people who believe and will carry his task. Let's stop the fighting amongst us and do what is right. I am your host, George Correa. Thank you for listening.